everybody, this is Diane. Welcome to Biters.
And this is Marnell, and I took a side mission, so I didn't do my research tonight.
And all I have to say is, Chloe!
I made a girl hop in my car tonight so we could chase down her dog, so that was my good deed for the day, but it totally made me late in my rewatch and my research and eating dinner and everything, so I feel wholly unprepared.
But you did a really good deed. You saved Chloe.
I did.
And it sounds like the owners were suitably grateful.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. This poor girl, let me tell you, the reason why I was like, get in my car is because she was running around in her pajamas in socks in the rain chasing her dog. And I'm like, oh, girl, I have been there. Because you're so worried the dog's going to get hit by a car.
Yes.
So I was just like, get in.
And for anybody who's never been to Southeast Alaska, pretty much it's rain 24/7.
Just about. Depends actually where you are in town, because it was raining downtown and it was sunny in the valley where I live.
I'm just laughing because, you know, the one or two listeners that we might have in California are like, the valley?
It's like 15 minutes from downtown.
Right.
Which you can't say that in California. You're not 15 minutes from anything in California.
Right, except more traffic.
Right? The next exit, maybe.
Yes. Well, so we're here to podcast Season 5, Episode 2, The Hurt That Will Happen.
Yeah, so, yeah. I middle bookish. For me.
Yeah, I told you, not even middle bookish for me. I actually am coming into this feeling a little bit bad that I'm so down on Fear. And
yeah, because normally we're totally pumped about Fear.
And I'm partway through Aim for the Head, and they have been really positive about this episode. I mean, they found some things that they felt were flaws, but overall they were really positive about this episode. And I'm like, what's wrong with me?
And I didn't think the episode was bad. It was just meh.
Yeah. I mean, you know me. I rarely rate something under a 4.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. And I rarely rate them as low as I rated last week, and I rated this week lower.
Uh-oh. What is your rating?
3.27 delusional accordion players out of 5.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Dang. Mine was 4 Pavlovian response of self-defense.
You rated it really high.
I did. Like I said, it wasn't bad. It was just meh.
You gave it a solid B.
I did.
Yeah. Mine is like a D.
Yeah, I have a hard time. I still really like the show. I'm kind of rating it on the curve of where we were in seasons like 2 and 3.
Yeah.
So by all comparisons, you know, I try to rate the show against itself and not against Walking Dead Prime or anything else.
Well, but you know, last season really raised my expectations.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's been some stuff that's supposed to come from this season that's one of the reasons why I'm like, meh. I'm like, where is it? TikTok, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we'll get into that.
Yes, we will. All right, so I do have some numbers. There are numbers for this episode, which played on Sunday, June 7th. WWE Raw actually won the week of June 3 through 9 in the 18 to 49 group. Fear was about halfway down the list in the 18 to 49 group. They didn't even make the top 25 overall for the week. It was pretty much news and WWE.
What is with that? Is there no sports ball on? Is it not a sports ball season?
It's not a sports ball season.
Okay. You know, though, I know a lot of wrestling fans, so.
I just remember our little old great-grandmother sitting and watching it in our grandparents' house. That's my memory of wrestling.
Goodness.
Yes.
Wow.
ages ago.
I don't even remember our great grandmother.
Yeah, I do. She was mean.
Well, we know where we get it then.
Right? So for the day, for Sunday, Fear was number 2 overall and in the 18 to 49 group, and it had 1.687 million views. So almost 1.7 million views. So a little bit of a drop off from last week.
That's to be expected until the season finale, mid-season finale.
Till the mid-season, probably.
And there was no Talking Dead this week.
I know. Which was, it was disappointing for me. It was kind of like, oh gosh, I've only got an hour of TV and I'm done.
Right?
But it was disappointing. I really do miss talking.
I know. It's like, how did we become so reliant upon the show, after show for the show?
It is part of the Sunday night ritual.
It is. It is. And it drives me nuts when they put something on in between and I have to watch it on Monday night.
So I saw some speculation that it's maybe contractual and money stuff with Chris Hardwick. I think you and I were speculating with Tom about that.
Yeah. Mine was, I was speculating about, Chris Hardwick had some drama last season come up with his ex-girlfriend.
Right.
And so he's been maintaining kind of a lower profile. And so I think that they probably just said, we really only need to do the premieres and finales for anything that's not Walking Dead Prime.
Well, I hope they don't lose him for Walking Dead Prime. I hope this is not a harbinger.
Me too. Me too. Because it came in a year after Walking Dead started. And I really think that it should see the Prime show to the end.
Oh, I think so too.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I don't know if they'll do any coverage of the new show, the 3rd series that's coming out, but they should.
I would gather to guess that they would do the same thing that they're doing with Fear Now, where it's just season premieres and season finales, unless they have Chris Hardwick do season premieres and season finales, and Yvette Nicole Brown do the rest of the season. I could totally see that happening.
I don't dislike her the way that Thomas O'Mara dislikes her.
I was going to say, much to the dismay of Thomas O'Mara.
But she's not my favorite.
Right. But she's a super fan, so she would really get in there.
But Talking Dead is not Talking Dead without Chris Hardwick.
No. She would never be up to the level of that we all know and love Chris Hardwick.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I just think that he would be really hard to replace at this point.
Definitely. I agree.
So our title, The Hurt That Will Happen, comes from Morgan's talk with Alicia.
Yeah. So I actually kind of had a hard time paying attention to that, and I realized it's because he has 2 of those every episode.
We'll get into that.
Okay. So I'm like, okay, are they building up to Morgan being killed off? What is going on? Why does he get these long, important speeches every episode?
I actually saw a news headline comparing him to Luke Skywalker. He's basically he's the Skywalker of the series. That said,
he does sound like a Jedi, but he lost his weapons, so.
Right. Which is huge.
Huge.
So I did really like the title. I thought it was a great title. I thought it was very evocative. It comes from the line, the way out is opening the door to, and then I edited a few things out, the hurt that will happen.
Yeah.
So I thought it was a really evocative title, and I really appreciated it, even though I will talk about Morgan and his pep talk. So our writer was a woman named Alex Delisle. She has actually been a staff writer for Fear the Walking Dead on 16 episodes. She has been credited as the primary writer on 3 episodes. This one, and then 2 from last season, The Code and Buried.
Oh, I remember her.
And then she has also been credited as story editor for 2 Fear the Walking Dead episodes. And she doesn't have much else. She's got a short that she wrote in 2013 called Puppy Dreams, and that's really all there is to her writing so far.
Yeah. Interesting.
I gotta say, at this point, I liked The Code and Buried better than I liked this episode.
Yeah, I would have to say that too.
But I'm holding out hope. I'm not giving up on this series, but I have really struggled for the last 2 episodes.
Definitely not. Really? Last episode?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I rated last episode a 3.5.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
Yeah. I'm not proud. I'm just saying.
Interesting. I think maybe because we podcasted with Thomas O'Mara, or we've podcasted something in between. I just don't remember you rating it that low.
Which, by the way, if y'all want to hear our take on Dark Phoenix, we were on Capes and Lunatics on Sunday and had a chance to talk with Phil, Charlie, and Lilith.
Yes.
And I think we were far harsher about Dark Phoenix than I actually have been about this episode so far.
Yeah, and that wasn't hard. I mean, Dark Phoenix is not great. Let's just say that.
Yeah, I agree. Friends, if you are not like highly motivated to see it in the theater, wait for video.
Definitely. Yep. Or when you get it free with Amazon Prime or something.
Yeah. So our director was also a woman named Jessica Lowry. She has 8 director credits overall. And the stuff that I really recognized other than Fear was she directed an episode of The Passage, which surprisingly was not renewed.
The Santa Clarita Diet.
Oh, did she actually direct on the Santa Clarita Diet?
She was second unit director or assistant director.
Okay. See, I was just looking at her primary directing credits.
Santa Clarita Diet jumped out at me.
Of course, and they didn't renew that either.
Yeah, Netflix.
Yeah, Netflix. Although Netflix has gotten some big points for me over the last week for the series When They See Us.
Yes.
So now, a total aside, if you folks are looking for anything really great to watch When They See Us, just be prepared that it's really heavy and very emotional.
Yeah. But I would watch it over Dark Phoenix.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, she's got a lot of assistant director credits for a lot of series.
Yeah, she's got a lot more stuff in assistant director than she does in her primary directing credits. I feel like she's just kind of edging out into being the main director. Her first director credit was actually a short called Certifiable in 2018, so she really is pretty new to being the person who carries the directing.
I was going to say she was just fresh off of being assistant director for a show called Ballers. So, which
actually has gotten really good reviews.
So I think she's kind of making the journey up.
Yeah. She has an upcoming episode on a series called Queen of the South, which sounded kind of interesting. It's about a woman who seeks refuge in America after her drug-dealing boyfriend is killed in Mexico.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, sounds pretty hardcore.
That does.
I've heard it mentioned, and I've heard good things about it. Probably won't be on my to-watch list anytime soon, just because it's not really the genre that I really look for, but...
Yeah. I was going to say it's probably way down there, but it does have Alicia Braga in it.
I don't know who that is.
So... like the very first 4 things that jump out are I Am Legend, Elysium, Predators, and Repo Men.
So I know the first 2, and obviously I know Predators, but I haven't watched that particular installment of the series. And I had heard about Repo Men, not Repo Man, not to be confused with the movie from the 80s. But I haven't seen it.
Well, there's actually two Repo Men or Repo Man. There was the one with Charlie Sheen and Emilio Estevez in the 80s. And then oh no, you know what? I'm thinking of Repo the Genetic Opera. And if you like quirky musicals, go watch Repo the Genetic Opera.
Okay, I've never heard of Repo the Genetic Opera.
I will have to send you a YouTube trailer or something. Oh my gosh. It's crazy.
And I thought I was going down rabbit holes.
Well, it has Anthony Stewart Head, who is Giles on Buffy.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So that's how I found it.
Aha.
I can't say that I actually recommend it, but if you're looking for quirky, there you go.
Oh no, if you're looking for quirky, I'm going to digress again. Have you watched the Amazon Prime series about Lorena and John Bobbitt?
No.
It's called Lorena. It is so good. There are 4 episodes, and they actually interview both Lorena and John Bobbitt throughout the entire season.
So is it like a dramatization or like documentary?
No. It's a documentary.
Okay. So I actually have to do some work tonight. I brought home a work laptop, and I have to do some real work. So,
oh, honey, you're not going to be getting any work done if you watch this. Trust me.
It's formatting spreadsheets, really. So
I binged the entire 4 episodes last night.
Oh no!
Yes,
I know what I'm doing 4 hours from now.
Yes,
that's funny.
So down another rabbit hole. I know, but. You know, I feel like this is not just The Walking Dead, but it's also pop culture. And it's our moment to be murderinos. So so I would highly recommend When They See Us, and I would highly recommend Lorena.
You know, it's funny how we always look at things in life now as murderinos. I was thinking tonight when I pulled up next to some random stranger, and it was like, get in my car. And she got in my car.
And you were like, dummy, let's go get your dog.
Right? I could be a murderer, but I'm not. Let's go get your dog.
Right.
That's funny.
Yes.
You know, I would. There's a lot of places you could probably still do that, but really in Southeast Alaska, you know, it was a girl to another girl. It wasn't like I was some like sketchy looking dude or something like, get in my car, let's go find your dog. But it was one of those things where I'm like, I probably would have done the same thing just because I would be so panicked in the moment, like about my dog. But like about 3 minutes after I got in the car, I would have been like, this might not have been a great idea.
You know, I've got to be honest with you, after working in the state prison system, I wouldn't even trust another woman driving up to me and saying, get in my car.
Luckily, I have a very trustworthy face.
Yes, you do. Little do they know.
Right? I'm mean like my great granny.
That's right. Well, not much else about Jessica Lowry, the director. I did recognize a couple of other series that she had worked on. So she worked on Step Up, the series that was derived from the movies. And she worked on Heathers, which was also a series that was derived from the original movie. Yeah.
That was one that I wanted to watch, but it got such terrible reviews. And not like that it was terrible, like that it was really off the source material and just wasn't true to the fans. So I really didn't watch. I stopped wanting to watch it.
I would think it would be really hard for them to improve upon the original movie. So yeah. I'm not highly motivated.
And I don't think that was Jessica Lowry's fault, because I've seen a ton of other stuff that she has been assistant director for, like The Colony and Gilmore Girls, Terminator, Sarah Connor Chronicles. Can't even speak. And all of those are fantastic. And of course, she was on Mad Men, which is on the list, but it keeps getting bumped down.
I won't even hold her responsible for the 3.27 that I gave this episode. I'm willing to give her another chance because she did direct 2 episodes that I really liked. So
she's
or no, I'm sorry. She only directed This for Fear. I was confusing her with Alex Delisle.
So
maybe I'm going to hold her a little bit responsible. We'll see.
We'll see.
So our featured cast.
So we were introduced to Karen David this episode, who plays Grace, and it looks like she will be a series regular for at least the season.
Oh, interesting. So they actually credit her, whereas they didn't really give Matt Frewer much in the way of credits for the season.
Right.
Huh.
Yeah, I also thought that was interesting because she is currently credited in 8 episodes. So we'll be seeing more of Grace. But so Karen David, she is my age. And she has actually a pretty long career, going back to 2002. And let's see. What did you know her from?
I've got to be honest and say I haven't watched enough of now I'm blanking on it. Once Upon a Time to see her as Jasmine. I didn't get far enough into the series, but that was the thing that I immediately recognized when I saw it on her IMDb.
And of course, it's because we get so many Walking Dead characters that have been on Once Upon a Time. It's the craziest thing. We always laugh that, everyone's on an episode of Law and Order, but now it seems like everyone's been on at least one episode of Once Upon a Time, whether they're cast or crew.
Well, Ian Goldberg and Andrew Chambliss. So
yeah,
Chambliss, however you say it. Yeah.
Yeah. She wasn't on a Law and Order, but she was on Criminal Minds for 2 episodes.
I saw that. I kind of laughed when I saw that. So she has a big history on the BBC, and I haven't watched the stuff that she has on BBC, but she was on a 26 episode stint on a show called Pixel Face. And then she actually was on a series called Waterloo Road that averaged 9 million viewers per episode.
Wow.
Which is pretty impressive.
Cold Feet's another one that was big in the UK.
Okay.
I don't know. Gallivant? Have you heard of this?
I have not. We had another crossover from Gallivant, or maybe we talked about Gallivant when we were talking about her first getting cast, but I recognize the name. I've never watched it.
It kind of seems like a very Once Upon a Time-ish kind of series, and she played Princess Isabella as opposed in Once Upon a Time she was Princess Jasmine. So she kind of got typecasted there, but she was also in the Scorpion King too.
I saw that.
And I love the pictures of her in her costume for that, because it kind of reminds me of one of the Amazons from Wonder Woman.
Oh, very cool. I'll have to go back and look at the pictures. I didn't.
Did you read her IMDb profile?
I did, and I thought that her history was so interesting.
It was also very well written. There's a thing that you can't edit your own Wikipedia page, and I think that's true for IMDb too. So I'm wondering who wrote her IMDb profile, because they did a very in-depth job. And they also were very... It read kind of like a Hemingway novel at some point. So I don't want to minimize any of her roles or anything, but it really it punched up a lot of the bigger movies and shows that she's been in. I talked about her being in Batman Begins, and I was like, oh man, who was she in Batman Begins? She was Courthouse Reporter 1. But it made it sound like she had this semi-starring role. And so I was like, okay. But her career seems to have really taken off in the past few years. She's had a lot of regular work. One of the TV shows that she is in that it's getting up there on the list. It's called Legacies. And that was the one she was in directly before. In fact, that she's still currently in it, technically.
Oh, okay.
And then, of course, now Fear the Walking Dead is just going to probably jumpstart anything that she had going for her before. So, and it looks like she's got a couple things in post-production.
So I was more interested in some of the musical stuff that she's done.
Right.
So she was in a movie with James McAvoy, who we know as Professor X in the movie that we just saw, Dark Phoenix. And don't look down on James McAvoy. He actually did a pretty good job.
That was great casting.
It was not his fault that it was a terrible movie.
No. Like when he's bald and in the wheelchair, it seriously looks like Patrick Stewart as Professor
X. A young Patrick Stewart. I agree. So
Crazy.
he was in a movie with Karen David called Bollywood Queen.
Mm-hmm.
She actually had her first acting role in the original London stage cast of Mamma Mia.
Yes.
And she actually worked with Andrew Lloyd Webber of Phantom of the Opera fame to develop a musical about Bollywood.
Yes.
So she's got quite a bit of music in her background, and she's had record deals with BMG Europe, including a hit song in 2003 called It's Me You're Talking To.
Right. It was a single in the top 10 airplay in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland.
Mm-hmm. And so I told you I did go down the rabbit hole a little bit and listen to one of her songs, a song called Hypnotize. And my take is Bollywood meets Britney Spears.
And that's not a bad thing.
No, that's not entirely bad.
Right.
I mean,
right.
I like I told you before we signed on, I am not predicting that I will fall in love with her the way I fell in love with Emily Kinney.
Right.
But I didn't listen to the song and go, oh, that's awful. I listened to the song and thought I could put that on my playlist when I'm on the treadmill and that would work for me.
Oh, that's funny. I realized when I was reading about her that I actually don't think I have ever seen a Bollywood movie. And I don't know why. Like it seems like something I would be interested in. It's just none of them have ever caught my attention.
Girl,
so
you got to fix that.
I know, right? It's funny because I always would watch The Big Bang Theory with Rajesh, and he would. There was a couple of things that he had. There was a musical episode that he did a Bollywood thing, and I'm like, why have I never watched a Bollywood movie? So I'm probably going to have to.
Go ahead.
I'm probably going to have to watch her in this now.
And the reason that we keep talking about Bollywood is that she was actually born in India, but she was raised in Toronto and, quote, came of age in the UK. So I know she's had a pretty international life.
That was the part that I was like, that's very like whimsical. She came of age in the UK. Yeah, so she's been all over the map, and she's very prolific on Twitter and Instagram, and some of her Instagram photos are just absolutely beautiful. There are a lot of shots from whatever she's working on, whether it's Fear the Walking Dead or Gallivant or any of those things. She's got a cockapoo named Milo who just turned 2.
Oh.
He's adorable. And then there's a lot of really just kind of beautiful shots. There's just one of this like really cool couch in a room that just it's gorgeous. And she's got pictures from all of her travels, Tokyo and Paris and everything in between. So you can follow her on Instagram at Karen David Official. And she, like I said, is a very prolific tweeter. She thanks a lot of her fans and retweets a lot on Twitter. And you can follow her at Karen David on Twitter.
Boy, there is a picture of her on a horse from a scene that she credits to Gallivant that is just beautiful.
Yeah, like I said, like there's just some gorgeous shots. And she always gets to wear great period costumes, yes. It seems like.
Yeah, and they really kind of played her looks down in this episode of Fear. She's actually a really beautiful woman.
Well, and like the second shot in that she has, it's a selfie while she's in her it almost looks like medical scrubs, and she's kind of got a dirty face. It's really hard to play down her beauty because she's gorgeous.
That's got to be a picture from Fear.
Yes.
Oh, and there's a nice picture of her standing with Ruben Blades.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah. He looks so open and so sweet. He definitely does not look like Salazar in this picture.
No, he doesn't. Not at all.
Well, the other thing that made me think of you when I was reading over her autobiography is that she's really active in charity work.
Yes.
So she's got credits for working for the Alzheimer's Association, the Prince's Trust, which we talked about with one of our other featured cast, and I can't remember who, but it's actually a group in the UK that works to help vulnerable young adults. The age range is 11 to 30.
Oh, I almost
Do you remember?
feel like,
Does that ring a bell?
yes, I almost feel like that was Jenna Elfman. I don't know, but we have talked about this before.
I think it was somebody who was British, because it is a British charity.
Oh, that's true.
And then she also has worked with SOS Children's Villages Foundation and Designers Against AIDS.
Yep.
And she did a charity Christmas album in 2010.
Way back on her Instagram, you can see she actually designed a t-shirt for one of the charities, and it's a really cute t-shirt. And I don't know if you can still get the t-shirt and hoodie, but the moniker on the front of it was Occupation Princess.
That's perfect.
So she did design a shirt to raise money for charity. I don't know if you can still get them. I'll have to click on that link. But it's way back in her Instagram. She's such a prolific Instagrammer that I didn't even get to the end of her Instagram. And normally I can scroll through enough that I come to somebody's very, very beginning of their Instagram, and I never reached hers.
The one thing that did surprise me is there was not really anything featuring her talking about being on Fear on YouTube. The rabbit hole that I really went down on YouTube was looking at her music.
Right. I think she might have done a little something for Cinema Blend. There was a really good article on Cinema Blend about this episode.
Okay.
I don't think she's been live interviewed yet because we are missing the Talking Dead.
Yes.
But I've seen just a few little things in print, but yeah, not a whole lot on Fear.
Well, anything else you want to say about Karen David? I mean, there's more I want to say, but I'm going to wait for Rotting Potpourri.
Okay. No, that's really all I had.
Actress, but more about the character.
Right.
All right. So buckle up, because there was quite a bit in Whisperer's Corner this week. So
you're so good at that. Like I couldn't find a whole lot.
Well, I have looked over the last few days, so I kind of collect things as I go.
Oh, okay.
So the first article is that several of our cast members from the main show have been featured for consideration for Emmy Awards.
Wow.
So Andrew Lincoln, Lauren Cohan, Norman Reedus, Melissa McBride, Denai Guerrera, and Jeffrey Dean Morgan all have their names in consideration for various categories in the Emmys this year.
Wow.
So here's hoping that somebody finally gets a freaking Emmy from this show, because they deserve it.
I was going to say, is this our first Emmy nominations?
It's not the first nominations, but
okay.
You know, there are quite a number of cast in the running, so hopefully they'll actually pull one in this time.
Yeah. Looks like we've stacked the deck this time.
Maybe people will finally realize that this is a serious show.
Right.
We can always hope.
It is a drama that just happens to take place in the zombie apocalypse.
That's right. A nod to the Forbes reviewer who I talked about last week, who just still doesn't have a clue what nurses do. His name was Eric Kane, and he actually liked this episode a little better, This is a quote from his review. I don't think people were quite as stupid as they were last week.
Yeah, not really. My one big thing, I kind of reconsidered the stupidity of it. So we'll get into that.
All right. There was an interesting cameo that was reported. Gary Whitta, I think I'm saying his name right, Whitta, was the person who wrote Rogue One, the Star Wars movie. He actually had a cameo way back in season 1, episode 1 of the main series, the episode called Days Gone By. He was part of the zombie horde that chased Rick down and pulled him off of his horse.
Huh. Why are we just finding out about that now?
Right? Isn't that interesting?
That's weird.
It's
only been 8 years,
right.
Like the better part of a decade.
Almost 9. Actually, it has been 9 because we just finished season 9.
Oh, I keep thinking we're on season 8.
No.
Maybe that's because we're on season 8 of The Talking Dead.
Right. Which hopefully there will be a season 9 of Talking Dead.
Right.
More news about Fear. So the showrunners have promised that there will be more content this season connecting Rick to Fear the Walking Dead. They didn't say what it was, but they teased it at a television festival over the weekend.
Well, it's got to be our, what is it, CMR dudes?
Yeah, I can't remember. CRM, DRM?
CRM, you're right.
So, that was probably a piece of clickbait. It's pretty obvious that there's going to be more connections, but I clicked. So there you go.
Right.
All right. So I am not going to say what the spoiler is, but both Digital Spy and Comic Book Reader reported on it. And if people want to go and seek it out, they can. But there was a gigantic thing that happened in the latest issue of the Walking Dead comic.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of conversation about how this could potentially affect the television series moving forward.
Chandler Riggs swore on Twitter.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, I can't remember what he was said, but yeah, it was he had profanity on his Twitter. I was like, wow.
So
he was very affected by it.
Comic book issue 192. So read it. Don't spoil yourself unless you're really, really, really wanting to be spoiled. And I'm not going to say any more than that. Let's see. Screen Rant said that they felt like the radioactive zombies are the best walkers yet. Yeah, that was kind of my response to that too.
I really, really liked the burning walkers that were coming out of the forest fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I go way back to the Well Walker. I think that was one of the best walkers ever.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I guess the radioactive walkers add a layer of danger, but you can't tell them apart from other than having the little things around their neck and, what if they've lost it? Or, they
looked a little more scalded.
Yeah, I guess the lesions or something from the radiation, but
best walkers ever? I don't know that I'd go that far.
I'm just like, what's a little bit of radiation when you could possibly get bit and turn into a zombie? Like, I'll take the radiation. It's fine. And this is me saying this after watching Chernobyl.
Oh, which I have to watch. I've heard it was amazing.
Yes, it was. And I kind of am like, okay, did they plan this season knowing that Chernobyl was going to be on?
There was some other speculation that I read about that, or maybe you heard about that, and it was like, no. There was no plan.
I think it was just really good timing that a bunch of us have watched Chernobyl, and then it's like, oh, radioactive walkers and radioactive meltdown. Because I think we've talked about that before, where it's like in the apocalypse, this would really happen. Like the nuclear reactors would melt down eventually, and they're all over they're all over the world, but they're all speckled across the country. So, yeah,
I will give them that. I think that's a good storyline, and I think it's very plausible.
Right. And, there would be places in the country that is something you would have to deal with. Radioactive walkers, radioactive wildlife.
Am I ecstatic about the radioactive walkers? I'm not ecstatic, but is it a good storyline? It's a good storyline.
Yeah, I agree.
A little bit of news about Coleman Domingo. So he told comicbook.com that he is still very close to Kim Dickens. They socialize a lot, but they never talk about fear. And I'm sure that is because she didn't really want to leave the series. She kind of got ousted.
Yeah. Did you watch the Deadwood movie that came out?
I haven't yet, only because I'm still not through the series, and I don't want to spoil the series by watching the movie. I'll watch it in due course.
Ditto. I'm the same way.
Diana did say it was very good, though.
Good.
Yeah. Let's see. A little bit of news about Michael Rooker. He was cast in the Amazon series that they are making about The Dark Tower, the Stephen King novel.
Oh, that's right.
Mm-hmm. And get this, Glenn Mazzara is the showrunner for that series.
Oh, that's funny.
So they're actually getting reunited.
Small world.
Mm-hmm. Universal Pictures and Skybound are working together to make a Kirkman property called Oblivion Song into a movie. It's a comic book that launched in March of last year, and there are 15 issues out so far. It's a post-apocalyptic story set in Philadelphia. So, I may watch it. I need to go back and watch Outcast. I bought the first season and made it through the first couple of episodes and have never gotten any further with it. But, I'm
pretty good with anything post-apocalyptic.
Yeah.
I mean, I watch Doomsday Preppers.
So Outcast isn't post-apocalyptic, but it has a really good storyline.
I don't think I've heard anything about it.
So it's about a guy who... I can't remember if he's demon-possessed or if the people around him are demon-possessed, but there is demon possession in the plot.
I was going to say, you had me at demon possession.
Right? Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg of Preacher fame are making Invincible, which is also a Kirkman property, into a movie. And that property has also been optioned for a series that Steven Yeun is going to do some work on.
So do you feel like that he could write anything and they would make it into a show now?
I think he has a very good chance of getting his properties optioned pretty quickly.
Right?
Everybody's hoping that they'll strike lightning like they did with Walking Dead.
It will never live up to the original. I'm sorry. Yeah.
It was one of those miraculous moments of TV.
Yep.
And I don't know that we'll recreate it, but, bully for Robert Kirkman for persisting and for trying. And, he's certainly not hurting for attention.
He has made so many other people's careers because of his properties. So, good on him.
Yep. Speaking of careers, one more piece of news, and then that will be the end of Whisperer's Corner. So David Morrissey, we kind of talked about him a little bit a few weeks ago, saying that he was being considered for a place in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So there is a rumor now, not confirmed, but pretty heavily rumored, that he is going to be tapped to play Norman Osborn, aka the Goblin, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I'm not familiar. I keep thinking Green Goblin for Spider-Man. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's who David Morrissey has been tapped to play, according to the heavy rumors that are out there right now.
They're going to go down that path with Spider-Man again.
Well, there's plenty to gold mine.
I have to say, though, I like this current the current kid who plays Spider-Man best out of all of the previous iterations.
I'll be honest and say I haven't watched any of his standalone movies. I have really liked him in the Avengers movies.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm pretty partial to Tobey Maguire.
Really?
Yeah.
He's second for me.
I'm pretty partial.
I tried to watch the dude that was the Spider-Man in the middle, and it didn't work for me.
Well, I have to be honest and say that my husband's cousin has worked in the first 3 Spider-Man movies as an editor, and he had a little cameo in one of the movies, so we're pretty partial for that reason, too.
Oh, well, that's totally understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool.
All right, we're 45 minutes in, and we're clearing Whisperer's Corner.
You said we were going to run long.
I told you we would. So, hit me with your good. Talk me off the ledge.
I don't know if this is going to talk you off the ledge. My good, and it's so far, I mean, we're only 2 episodes into the season, but we've seen some really good contraptions this season. I love the walker traps. Last episode, it was Alicia doing the tripwire.
Mm-hmm.
And then this episode, we see the curb that has the spikes where the walkers trip over the curb and get impaled on the spikes.
So those totally made me think of Morgan's setup in Clear.
Yeah.
And they also made me think of when they had the spikes set up outside the prison walls.
Yeah. And of course, they have them set up outside of Hilltop, too.
Mm-hmm.
But I also loved the bird box and the bolo. I didn't quite understand where the bolo came from. Did she use it, or was that some sort of spring trap or something on that tarp?
Sounds like she threw it. I had to.
Okay.
I picked up on that when I did some reading of reviews that were out there, because I was like, "What the heck is wrapped around Morgan's ankles, and what just happened?"
Well, and I was familiar with the weapon, I guess, because it's been in a lot of video games and things like that, quest type games, and some, I think probably Conan the Barbarian or something like that I've seen. So I've seen it before. It's something that has been used in real life at one point, but I loved that it was paired with the bird box contraption where and that's totally genius. I just have some birds and the walkers are going to be attracted to it. And why aren't we setting these up around all of our places? Did
you notice that the opening credits had the walkers reaching for the bird box?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I wasn't sure that they were going to change. They looked static to me last episode, so I was tickled to see that they're continuing with that being a changing thing.
Yeah, the theme of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
And I really had to rewind and get up close and figure out what are these 2 dudes doing?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was the bird box.
I also like the appearance. They've kind of colorized and made the appearance pop a little bit more with the opening credits, and I really like them.
Yeah. Yeah, and I do like how our opening credits kind of changed, and they started that. Was it last season?
Yeah, they started it last season.
Yeah. But yeah, I love all of our smart contraptions that we're using against walkers or even people, for that matter, in this season. I just, they're so smart. I don't know that I would have thought to do any of these things. I particularly, for some reason, I don't know why, the tripping over the curb and falling in headfirst to the spikes. I mean, it's not 100%, but that's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. I especially like the touch of the curb. That was new.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was my good, is I think they're working smart, not hard this season.
Very good. Well, I definitely like the rebar and the curbs too, so I will give you that.
And what was your good?
So my good was really small, but I loved the accordion stuff. The accordion stuff is from the drugs,
right?
I just thought it was really funny, and we don't get very many funny moments in either this or Walking Dead Prime, so I really appreciated the humor.
Yeah. I did too, and I loved what's her name's reaction to it, Jenna Elfman. She's like, yeah, oh yeah,
You need some sleep, sweetie. You
yep,
need some rest.
that was funny. And she just kept going on about it too. I mean, even when she radioed Strand, she was talking about the accordion.
Yes.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah, so it was a small good, but it was definitely a welcome moment of humor in this season and this series.
So that kind of takes us into my bad.
All right. Lay it on me.
Originally, my bad was Luciana being an idiot and going out in the dark when she's all drugged up and just not being able to shoot straight and getting, just about trapped by walkers. But then I was like, she's all cracked out on painkillers and talking about accordions. So I'm actually going to give her a pass on this because, yeah, it was dumb to go outside in the dark alone high on whatever she's taking, but she's high on whatever she's taking. And that would probably be a thing. I would probably stumble outside and be like, no, I'm fine. I can do this. So I had to give her a little break. So that actually was not my bad. That was originally my bad, but I'm giving her a break because of the drugs.
Okay.
My bad wound up being, where's Dwight? We were promised Dwight.
I
hear he's coming next episode.
That's what I heard too. I didn't watch the any of the teasers for next episode, but that's what I heard.
I did. They don't show him, but they do show why am I not thinking of anybody's names tonight? They show John Dory, and somebody has a gun to his head, and I don't know why I think it's Dwight's sleeve, but I think it's Dwight's sleeve. Probably because they're not showing anything else but the sleeve and the gun up to John Dory's head. And it's very weird. It looks like they're in kind of an old Western town. And I swear to you, there is a horse behind John Dory. I don't know where he got a horse or if it's a real horse or it's a statue or what, but it's just a really weird random moment. And I kind of think that's where we get introduced to Dwight.
Well, it kind of makes sense that Dwight would think about a horse because he was around the kingdom.
Oh, it's Dwight's horse. Duh.
Well, he didn't have a horse. He didn't live with a horse, but it kind of makes sense that he would think about a horse.
Yeah, I could totally, because, I would hope that maybe, his bike ran out of gas or, he couldn't find any more gas because that should be a thing now.
Although apparently Jenna Elfman can find gas.
Right. Well, we're still finding aviation gas, right. So there's that, but we won't go there. But yeah, we've been promised Dwight. Dwight's not here. Where is Dwight? That was my bad. It's a small bad because probably because I had to change it like about 2 hours ago because I was like, okay, I'm going to give Luciana a break on this one because I've totally been there with Vicodin.
That's funny.
I've never done anything like drive or anything, but I'm always like, no, I can totally mow the lawn while I'm on Vicodin.
You would totally wander out looking for the wind and be surprised by zombies.
Right? And then think I could shoot them. No, I can shoot straight. This is fine. So what was your bad?
Well, so my bad was the zombies planting face down in the mud pit. Because for me, it was a laugh out loud funny moment, and I know it wasn't supposed to be funny. But it really bugged me. I thought it was so dumb. And I don't know, it really bugged me.
Yeah. I could see that. We do get, at least once every episode, we have to have our group in perilous danger from zombies. So I guess this was that.
Nah, it just didn't do anything for me.
Yeah.
Except made me laugh when it wasn't supposed to.
But it did make you laugh.
All right. So what was your ugly?
My ugly is a good ugly, kind of.
That's what you always say.
I know, right? I'm yeah, I'm doing it again. Strand. What is his backstory? What's he been doing? Like, how did he get hold of all this good stuff?
Oh no, don't you mean Salazar?
Oh, I'm sorry, Salazar.
Yeah.
How did he inherited it? "Quote unquote inherited it."
Yeah, he's got a mad selection of stuff.
Yeah, like a whole warehouse of canned goods and even one of those little tins of the gross sugar cookies. I don't know why I cued in on that quickly, but I did. He's got tons of cars. He's got ammo to spare because he's shooting 2 shots up in the air to get Strand to leave. He's got a cat,
Yes, whose name is Skidmark.
Skidmark. And apparently he had the cat when he met Al, because that's the title of his tape.
Yes.
So I'm just super interested in what happened to him between the dam and now.
Are we going to get Salazar backstory? Do you think?
I hope so. He's got a plane? Like, yeah, he's sitting pretty for this far into the apocalypse, you know?
He's got a plane he's not willing to share.
Right. Yeah, he's got a pretty good setup.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't think he set all that up himself. And yeah, the quote unquote, I inherited it. Interesting.
And I obviously definitely don't think this is the end of Salazar. Just because he ran Strand off, that doesn't mean we're not going to see Salazar again. We're going to get more.
Oh, no. Yeah, we will totally get more. But the question is, will we get more because Strand is so convincing or persistent, or is it because Salazar kind of finds a heart?
I don't know that Salazar has a heart.
I wouldn't. After he's been set on fire, he's been shot in the face, he's the dam. Like, no, like I would be like, this is my place, leave.
Yep.
Me and Skidmark are gonna hunker down with our canned goods and gross cookies. So what was your ugly?
So my ugly, and this tells you how down I am on this episode because it's rare for me to have a bad ugly, but I had a bad ugly. So even though this episode gave us a title that I really liked, I just think the Morgan pep talks, and especially the Morgan pep talking Alicia moments, are going to get played out.
Yeah.
I'm done with it.
I hope we've seen enough of that for the whole season. Because we get like 2 an episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I understand that they're trying to help and that they're trying to redeem themselves and that Morgan feels like he has a lot to make up for, but I'm really tired of the heart-to-hearts with Alicia.
Yeah, and I'm totally on Alicia's side too. On these, I'm like, we've tried to help all these people, we can't find them, they don't want help, or just leads us, it inevitably ends up bad. So why don't we just try and help ourselves and set some stuff up and have people come to us? I get it.
Alicia is depressive. Alicia needs some meds.
Alicia's just tired. She's lost every single member of her family, and she's just tired.
Okay, she needs some meds and some counseling.
Yeah.
But not from Morgan.
And maybe like a massage or something.
And a shower.
At least Morgan got a decontamination shower with soap and everything. I'm like, yeah, I got some radiation over here too. Give me that soap. Yeah.
So, I would say overall my good, bad, and ugly, none of them were big standout moments, but this was a tough episode for me.
Yeah, I agree. None of mine were really stand up. I really, really do like our cool contraptions that we're coming up with. I find them just really original, you know. In Walking Dead Prime, I think we get some really good zombie makeup, and we've had some of that in Fear, but they're really stepping it up with their just I want to say just fun traps, you know. So I really liked that, but it still really is a minor moment. So this episode wasn't as great, even though I tend to rate stuff higher than you.
That's not usually true. I usually rate things a lot higher than you.
I think you do on Walking Dead Prime.
I generally do on this too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Preacher.
No, I've been a Fear cheerleader for all of the seasons, although I've struggled harder in previous seasons than I did in season 4.
Haven't we all?
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm looking forward to surprising you with a high rating next week.
Oh. Well, hopefully we get Dwight too.
I'm just being hopeful. All right. What do you smell?
Rotting potpourri.
All right.
So was it just me, and I know it's not, but did Lucy's wound look like a bite?
It kind of did, now that you mention it.
I just, when it startled me for a second, because I had to think, oh my God, was she bit? And then I was like, no, that's where the rebar went through her. Or the fuselage or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. But yeah, just the way it was like dotted. I don't know if that was because of the stitching or anything, but
that's what I think.
It just looked like the half a bite mark, you know? And I don't know if that was intentional or not, but it caught me for a second. I was like, oh no, Lucy.
I don't think she's out of the woods. She talked about her hand being numb.
That's true. That's true. And what's funny is immediately, like, I have no medical training other than what I've watched on TV. But immediately I thought brachial nerve.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the brachial nerve plexus.
Yep.
Yeah. So I do think that this episode had one of my favorite lines for Fear the Walking Dead, which is, "You still talk too much, Victor." And the observation that Skidmark licks his own ass, so he can't have that
good
great a taste.
Right? Well, and when Strand started talking, I was just like, oh my God, you use the most words to say the smallest thing.
You want to know what I wrote down? I wrote down, Victor is the Eugene of fear.
Oh, that's funny.
Because he is very verbose.
He's a great orator. But I think Eugene's funnier.
I do too. Although Victor is a character in his own right.
He definitely is. And I think that's probably why he's stuck around so long. Mm-hmm. Him and Alicia. Kind of both fan favorites.
Kind of in keeping with just looking at Victor and the interaction between Victor and Strand. Or Victor and Salazar. Now you've got me doing it. I really liked that Salazar just kept calling him on his stuff.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he was basically like, you ruin everything you touch. I'm not letting you touch my plane because you just make everything go bad. I really liked that he really kind of kept digging at Victor.
I do too.
And I thought it was really honest.
Do we know exactly why Strand wasn't on the plane? He seemed to be kind of cagey about it, and he was like, "Oh, there were walkers on the runway. Somebody had to clear them." Like,
that's the only thing I know. I mean, I don't know anything different.
Okay, I feel like maybe there was something that I saw that maybe he was too drunk or he chickened out or something. But I also have to say that if either of those things are true, or if he was clearing the runway, either way, for him not to go, he actually was helping them because the plane crashed and now he's finding another plane for it was like he was meant to not be on the plane. If he had been on the plane, maybe the crash would have been worse, or maybe maybe more people would have gotten injured or killed, or like, because let's be honest, the engine failure was going to happen whether he was on the plane or not. So him being left behind was kind of a good thing. So I think Salazar, while it's it's good that he's calling him on it, he's not totally correct.
I just kind of figured that the plane could only hold so many, and Wendell and Sarah and Charlie and Victor all stayed behind. I didn't think, oh, he stayed behind because he was clearing the runway.
That's true. That's true, because the others did stay behind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we didn't see anything from those guys this episode.
No, so hopefully we'll see them next episode, because I really do like Wendell and Sarah as characters.
Yeah, and Charlie's grown on me.
As she has grown on Alicia.
Right? Also probably because she's grown up more. Because you know me and kids and the apocalypse.
Mm-hmm. So did you notice Salazar's reaction when Victor told him that Madison and Nick had both died?
I don't know if I noticed what you noticed.
His face just kind of crumbled. He was really kind of arrogant and giving Strand what for, and then especially when Strand led with the fact that Madison had died, his face just kind of crumbled. I mean, you could really see his reaction, and you could really see that there was some attachment to Madison.
That's so surprising. I guess, I mean, in the apocalypse, even an enemy dying, is somebody you know. So I guess it wouldn't be totally a reason to celebrate. So you would be a little sad?
I don't think he viewed Madison as an enemy. I think he really did view Madison as a compatriot. Madison's not the one who shot him in the face.
No, but she was also another one who just tried to, this sounds awful, tried to do too much good.
Tried to do good and failed.
Yeah, just like everything that they touched, like, died. Her and Strand.
So I've got to ask you, and the reason that I'm asking you is because I heard Diana and Steve talking about this before I signed in tonight. I was listening to them on my way home. And did you go back and watch the episode where where Salazar gets shot in the face?
No.
So I didn't either, but I feel like I need to go back and watch it because I feel like it was a bigger wound than what we're seeing now.
See, and for some reason, I actually don't remember that he was shot in the face. I just remember that the dam blew up and he was on it, and I figured that was his
enough to
critical
take him
injury.
out. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, getting shot in the face was just, on top of that. But I didn't actually remember him being shot in the face.
I feel like I need to go back and look at it again because I just remember it being bigger than it apparently was.
I feel like we've also talked about how his burns healed really well.
Right.
Maybe the guy is just like a mutant or something.
He was the Dark Phoenix.
He's an X-Men. Oh, that's funny.
All right. So did you notice when we first get Grace that her Tyvek suit and her boots and her gloves are all just kind of duct taped together?
It was awful. That is not keeping any radiation off of you. That was like a painter's suit.
I was like, she is not nearly as professional as she wants them to think she is.
No.
That was totally rigged together.
Another show that I just got done watching because, my life is TV is The Hot Zone. And they were dealing with Ebola and had more protective gear. I don't think they had enough protective gear, but they still had more, and they weren't dealing with radioactive particles.
Okay, so to go down the rabbit hole, where is the Hot Zone? What are they on?
I don't remember.
Because the book was...
It was on Nat Geo.
Oh, then I'll miss it. The book was phenomenal.
I think Nat Geo is one that you can actually stream for free online.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, because I just switched Mom over to streaming TV because cable is just way too much to pay for. And she really only watches like CBS, NBC, ABC, one of the other 3-letter channels. But I also think that like Nat Geo is one that you can watch online. Like you probably can't skip commercials, but you can still watch it for free online. I don't know, but I think so. But yeah, it was Nat Geo. And it was really, really good. It had the chick from The Good Wife that I like.
Juliana Margulies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it looks like to get it on Prime, you have to pay for it. So, but it does look like you can watch it on National Geographic. So we'll see.
Cool.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, that was totally another rabbit hole, but I had forgotten that they were making that into a series, and the book was really a good read. So
the book is always better.
Almost always. So, how long do you think it's been since Morgan's taken his wedding ring off?
Oh, since before the apocalypse.
I really like that they focused on that. That was a nice little moment for me, and just kind of seeing him pause before he took off his ring.
You know, that takes you all the way back to season 1, episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
And his wife was one of the best zombies ever. I mean, talk about great zombies. She was a great zombie, and she was so haunting.
Yes. And that, I mean, we get this far into the zombie apocalypse, and they're just zombies. They don't seem like that they were ever people at any point. Mm-hmm. And that takes you back, and you have to remember that this was someone's wife or, you know, daughter, sister, mother,
a really
brother.
Good point. And even when Rick shot that sheriff's deputy at the station, he was still a person first.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're right. We don't really see that with the zombies anymore.
Yeah.
We need to go back to that. I mean, there are plenty of people who could die in turn.
Yeah. I mean, for all we know, there could be a zombie Madison out there somewhere.
No, I think she burned up.
Those are my favorite walkers, the burned ones.
So, this is a little aside also, but no, you don't get ads because you don't get it on television.
Right.
So there was an ad for The Dead Don't Die, which comes out this weekend.
Oh,
yes.
I need to see that.
I am going to go see it with our sister, so we need to review it.
You're going to go see it with Amy?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. She is usually not a fan of like horror or anything like that.
Well, it's comedy.
Okay.
It's Bill Murray, for crying out loud.
I wonder if she's seen Zombieland.
I don't know. I'll have to ask her.
Huh. That's funny.
Anyway, another rabbit hole, but we're definitely going to be talking about The Dead Don't Die. Maybe not in this upcoming episode, but we're going to talk about it this summer.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So is it our mysterious guys in the black padded suits that trapped all the walkers in the, I want to say, Crystal Lake camp?
I don't think so. It sounds like they just got the conversation that I've heard and the reading that I've done, it sounds like they just got sick after fighting radiated walkers and ended up getting trapped.
Huh. I feel like they were boarded in there.
I had a hard time following some of the stuff in this episode, to be honest with you, and that did not really hold my attention. Another thing that I didn't realize, and part of it was just because the screen was so dark and I couldn't see, but I didn't realize that when June and John went out and found Luciana, that there were a bunch of walker heads on that billboard.
But you caught it later in the episode when they were talking about it, right?
No, I missed it when they showed the visual because it was so dark. And then again, I just wasn't gripped by this episode, so I didn't realize it until I was doing some reading. And then I was like, oh, okay.
I like what June had to say about that. Because they were like, somebody went to all that trouble to do that, rather, when they could have just written a note. And June's like, well, that means we're getting close to something. And
I think it's definitely our group that has Althea.
The guys from
the Sierra.
Yeah, definitely. And you just keep seeing stuff about how that's the same guys that took Rick and Jada's.
Mm-hmm.
So it still has me wondering, was anyone in our group an A or a B?
Maybe we'll get an answer about A's and B's in Fear.
I doubt it. They're probably going to save that for the movies.
I don't know. They're going to give us a little more info. I assume they're going to hook us up with Althea at some point, so we must learn something about CRM.
Yeah, I think we definitely have to learn something. I at least want to know, like, is it an intimidation thing? Because even Grace was like, no, I don't go near those,
Mm-hmm.
Is it just an intimidation?
I don't know.
Because I think it would be more menacing to show up in our Darth Vader suits, than just to, tie walker heads to billboards and trees.
I still do love the gutted walkers being strung to each other. I thought that was a really great episode, or great effect from last week.
Oh, and I just love the walker heads when their teeth chatter.
Mm-hmm.
Because I always forget that, because in other zombie movies or even mythology, if you behead something, it dies generally, unless it's guarding the gates to hell. But I forget that you actually have to destroy the brain. And so just cutting their heads off doesn't work. So I just, when their teeth were chattering, I was like, oh, that is, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I go back to how impractical, because how do you hang a walker head by its hair without getting bit yourself?
I was thinking about that, and you could somehow rig it so that the hair is sticking out of a bag, but the face is covered with a bag so you can't get bit.
Yeah, just don't slip.
Yeah, I was totally trying to explain it away.
Yeah.
Did you catch Morgan's t-shirt after he had his shower?
No.
Don't mess with Texas.
Oh, that's funny.
It was hilarious.
Alaska's bigger. Texas always tries to claim that everything's bigger in Texas. Well, you're a third our size. Just saying.
So I've got to say, I really struggled with the whole don't kill the contaminated walkers because you'll get contaminated. And I really had a hard time kind of following that. And I don't think I'm an intellectual slouch by any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, I had a really hard time following that.
What are you going to do? Let the irradiated walkers run around and irradiate more stuff?
Right.
No, you're going to put something through them. And okay, so my stick got a little bit of gore on it and it's probably got some radiation, but I'm probably going to die of starvation, infection, thirst, exposure, something before I die of radiation poisoning from my stick.
Which I do have to say, I liked that they separated Morgan from his stick. I was like, that's it? That's it? We're just never going to see the stick again?
How very unceremonious.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's a huge loss.
Yes.
That goes all the way back to Eastman. Cheeseman. Eastman. I think we called him Cheeseman because he was the cheesemaker.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's been a very, very big part of Morgan's journey.
Mm-hmm.
So that's almost a loss of a character. That would be like Rick losing his Colt Python, which technically he did because he's been separated from it now. But, yeah. Or
So
the pocket watch.
Speaking of deaths, I really loved that they teased Grace's death.
Yeah, they did.
I mean, they really pretty much told us that she's got a limited time left to do what she's trying to accomplish.
Yeah. I did see something that was talking about, they brought up why has she survived so long when her coworkers who were exposed also, she must have had less exposure I mean, she's not even showing symptoms at this point. She has no lesions. She's not sick. None of her hair is falling out, so I don't know. Maybe those painter suits are better than I thought they were.
I did really think that her drive to deal with those walkers, and she actually said, I couldn't take care of them then, so I have to take care of them now. I thought that really kind of fit in with the whole ethic of our group this season, trying to help people, trying to make up for past deeds, trying to make amends.
That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, what else are you going to do when you have limited time? But you try to, make the world a little bit of a better place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Interesting.
I also had written down that I actually thought the scenes where Coleman was on the radio talking to Lucy, I thought his acting was a little wooden, which was kind of surprising to me because I usually love Coleman Domingo, but I just thought he was a little wooden in some of these scenes.
Wonder if it was just nerves because he had to go get because he made a tape and everything that was like, well, if you're watching this, I'm dead, So I think he really was expecting to not come back from this mission. I think that he really went into this thinking that, Salazar was going to just cap him.
And Salazar told him if he comes back, the next round is going to be in his face.
I want to think that Salazar wouldn't do it, but I kind of think that he probably would after everything he's been through.
Again, I don't think he has a heart, so I think the chance of him putting a round in Strand's face is pretty high.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I really had for my rotting potpourri. Do you have anything else?
No, I think we just about covered it in our 2 hours.
So I believe that there is a chance that one of us may be helping Diana out next week. I need to talk with her a little bit more. But she is going to be short a co-host for episode 3. And then she and I had also talked that at some point we might do some crossovers between Biters and Aim for the Head.
That would be cool.
Yeah, I think that would be really fun. I think it would be great to have all 4 of us on.
Yeah, I enjoy their show.
Yeah.
It feels like a completely different format and vibe than ours, but it's like yin and yang.
And I am definitely enjoying it. And they gave us a really nice shout out. So I just wanted to say back at you guys.
Yep, definitely.
Well, so coming down the pike, we've got more Fear. We're still going to try to talk about Good Omens. We're not giving up on that. Nope. And now we have to talk about The Dead Don't Die.
Right. The Dead Don't Die.
I'll let you know what I think after Saturday.
Right? I feel like I'm not going to be disappointed. Like it's just supposed to be funny and campy and zombie and all of the other E's.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great.
Yeah. So look forward to that. Listen to Aim for the Head. And until then, just remember, take it one dead day at a time. All right, everybody, have a good week. Bye.
Bye.